Welcome to a new episode of Diálogos Digitales. Today we'll explore Fahrenheit 451, 2018, Ramin Bahrani's contemporary adaptation that transplants Ray Bradbury's dystopia into the heart of our digital age. We'll discuss themes like censorship in the era of algorithms, memory as the last bastion of resistance, entertainment as social anesthesia, and how the body itself might become humanity's final archive.
A film that doesn't burn books with torches, but with silent server updates, and asks us, if no one remembers what was lost, did it ever truly exist?
The first thing that strikes you about this version is its tone. There are no red uniforms or theatrical plazas. Fire is no longer spectacle, it's infrastructure. Firefighters aren't mythic figures, they're technicians of forgetting. And in the middle of this world, Guy Montag isn't a rebel from the start. He's a loyal officer who genuinely believes he's protecting society from chaos.
Exactly. And his transformation doesn't begin with a speech. It begins with doubt. That doubt is born when he sees a woman choose to burn with her books rather than live without them. That gesture makes no sense in a world that values safety above all, but it makes perfect human sense.
And that's the core of the film. Censorship no longer needs prisons or explicit laws. It's enough that no one wants to read. In this version, books aren't just burned by state order, they become irrelevant because people prefer the constant flow of digital stimuli. Bradbury's talking walls evolve into omnipresent screens, personalized feeds, notifications that replace reflection with instant reaction.
It's chilling how current it sounds. We live in a world where millions of words are published every second, yet almost nothing is remembered the next day. Isn't that a form of book burning without fire?
Absolutely. The film suggests the real threat isn't technology itself, but our willingness to surrender our attention, our memory, and ultimately our judgment to it. Constant entertainment isn't a luxury, it's a tool of control, because while you're distracted, you don't question. While you're reacting, you don't think.
And in that context, remembering becomes subversive. It's not about collecting books, it's about preserving the ability to think for yourself. That's why the book people from the original novel become something more symbolic here. They don't memorize texts, they encode fragments of literature into a bird's DNA.
That's one of the boldest twists, the body as a digital archive, or rather a post-digital archive. When servers can be erased and clouds vanish, where does culture reside? The film proposes it might be in what can't be hacked. Biology, genetic code, what pulses beyond data.
But there's also deep melancholy. Montag doesn't overthrow the system. He escapes. He carries a verse, not a revolution. Is that hope or resignation?
I think it's humble hope. The film doesn't believe in epic redemption. It believes in persistence. As long as someone remembers a line from A Tale of Two Cities, humanity isn't lost, because memory isn't just information, it's identity.
And what about Mildred, or Millie? She's not a villain, she's a mirror. She spends her days interacting with virtual friends, celebrating empty achievements, consuming without hunger. Her life is a sequence of moments designed to avoid emptiness, and that's precisely why it's empty.
She represents modern alienation, not through oppression, but through consent. No one forces her to stare at screens. She chooses not to look inward. And in that, the film confronts us directly. How often do we prefer infinite scrolling to the discomfort of being alone with our thoughts?
Beatty, the captain, is even more unsettling. He's not ignorant, he's an intellectual who chooses collective ignorance. People don't want to think anymore. They want to feel, react, and share. His argument sounds familiar in an age of digital lures, algorithms that reinforce our beliefs, and debates reduced to emojis.
Beatty doesn't hate books, he fears them, because he knows that once someone starts thinking, they can never be happy with the surface again. And in that fear, he recognizes his own complicity. He too was seduced by the system, and now defends it as the only path to peace.
In the end, The film offers no solutions, only a question. What are we willing to burn to feel safe? And what are we willing to remember to remain human?
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Diálogos Digitales. We'll meet again on our next analysis, where we'll keep exploring the boundaries between science, consciousness, and cinema.